Welcome back to Free Media. I'm Amber Duke.
And I'm Robby Soave. Well, Jay Jones, the Democratic candidate for Attorney General of Virginia, has been widely denounced for fantasizing about violence against a former Republican colleague and that Republican's children. In 2022, Jones wrote in a text message that then Republican Speaker of the House of Delegates, Todd Gilbert, should get 2 bullets in the head. He also described Gilbert's 2 young boys as little fascists and suggested he wanted them to die because, quote, only when people feel pain personally do they move politically.
Countless Republicans, including President Trump and Virginia gubernatorial candidate Winsome Earls-Sears, who is currently the lieutenant governor, have called on Jones to quit the race. Sears' Democratic opponent, Abigail Spanberger, however, has not. The hosts of Morning Joe on MSNBC discussed the issue, concluding that it would be best for all involved if Jones dropped out.
Horrible. I didn't want to read them out loud. I'm wondering how the text messages came to light.
Deeply disturbing messages that have been swiftly condemned across the political aisle. The Republicans have tried to tie this to the Congresswoman Spanberger, the gubernatorial candidate. She did very quickly denounce them. But it's unclear whether this Attorney General candidate will stay in the race. I think there's a growing sense that he probably should not. We heard President Trump last night. But even some Democratic leaders, John Hyman, have started to say, like, look, this is inappropriate. You can't, and especially at a time right now with such concern about violent rhetoric and political violence.
And who says that?
Yeah, that this is just way beyond the line.
I would say, not to be too much on the high horse. It's wildly inappropriate under any circumstances today, tomorrow, 10 years ago, 6 months ago. I think the pressure is going to be on Spanberger and for the whole of the party to ask this candidate to just quit the race, because just both, it's the right thing, and also the political splashback. You don't want to mess with this right now.
Who says that?
I think the right thing to do is basically this guy should do everyone a favor and step out of the race.
Yeah.
I have so much to say about this.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first.
I was just going to say, it's so bad. There's no mitigating circumstances for it, really. Like, look, do I personally get worked up if someone, makes a, joke they shouldn't, that's like too warlike in imagery? I remember, I think it was Lindsey Graham who joked that if they shot Ted Cruz in the middle of the Senate and the whole Senate was there, everyone would vote to acquit. That's funny because it's context dependent and it's friendly because they're actually friends, and you can gather that that's not an actual thing that he's expressing.
Right.
Whereas this, the guy doubles and triples down in a conversation with someone from the other. He texted the wrong person. He's talking to a Republican woman and does not have the reaction I would think anyone would have, which is like, oh my God, sorry, that's not what I meant. This wasn't for you, and that's not what I was saying, just to be clear. He explains why that is kind of what he's saying.
Exactly. So the messages mistakenly went to Republican delegate Carrie Coyner, and she's like, I don't think you meant to send this to me. And he's like, yeah,
He gives him a lot of outs, and he just goes for it.
And he's like, yeah, but, and then goes on to say, after she's like, this is inappropriate, he says, well, if I had 2 bullets, and I had Todd Gilbert, the former Speaker of the House of Delegates, Pol Pot, and Hitler in front of me, I would put 2 bullets in Todd Gilbert's head. Then he actually, as she again condemns him, he calls her on the phone to double down and further explain his position, say that he wants the kids to die so that he can personally feel pain, and then they continue to text, and he triples down again. Now, she also said in a statement this week that they had previous issues where he had expressed a desire for political violence, saying that—
He sounds like a real piece of work.
He's a piece of work. He apparently had also told her in the past that he wanted police officers to be killed on the job because it would make them less likely to shoot people, basically implying it would solve police brutality if cops died.
Yeah, people who think this is a really persuasive line, more people I disagree with should face violence or should suffer violence in order to prove a point, just doesn't make you look or sound good ever.
You sound like a crazy person.
Right, you sound like a crazy person.
And what I found especially disturbing about this story is that all of the statements from Democrats in Virginia who have, condemned his comments, have gone on to say, but we still have to vote for him because we know his character, and this is a fight for democracy. Like, democracy's on the line, so you have to vote for the guy who wanted to murder his political opponents. Like, it just fundamentally doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And Louise Lucas and the chair of the Senate Democrats, their statement was especially bad, where they were like, his values, though, are just what we need for Virginia. And it's like, well, what value? We are seeing the values in text message form, and they're despicable.
Yeah. And again, if it was substantially less than this, if it was like, I feel like shooting the speaker sometimes.
Yeah,
and he texted it to the wrong person. He said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I mean, you just shouldn't put that thought in words, especially if you're a political actor. And then someone leaked it to the press, I'd be like, whatever, give me a break. But this
is like clearly what he actually believes.
Why he feels that way sincerely, which is just not good.
This is also not his only scandal. He also had a reckless driving charge in 2022 where he was going, I believe, 46 miles per hour over the speed limit.
46 over?
Yeah, 46 over.
It's like 46 and a 25
He was going like 116 and a 70.
Well, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, so they charged him, and he avoided jail time by doing community service and paying a fine. But the community service that he did, 500 hours of it was with his own political action committee.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Which is like actually forbidden in the Virginia sentencing guidelines. It can't be for a political organization. And then the other 500 hours were with the Virginia NAACP, which is like, okay, that's actually a nonprofit, like technically charitable organization. But then when he finished the community service, he helped the Virginia NAACP sue the Youngkin administration, and now is running on that in his attorney general campaign. So basically, he used his reckless driving charge to advance his own political career. He's a shameless guy.
It'll be interesting to see how this affects the races. Obviously, according to the polls, Winsome Sears is a little bit behind Spanberger. Maybe this affects that in some way. One would certainly expect it to affect his own race.
And they were tied as of a week or two ago.
This could very well sink him. I think it's maybe not a sure thing, but
sadly,
I think moves it more likely to be the other way. Whether it has any effect on the rest of the ticket remains to be seen.
The other problem, too, is that Virginia, of course, has early voting.
Yeah, you've already voted.
I actually did vote before the scandal came out. Now, didn't change my vote, obviously. But
I think we can guess.
Yes, but there are hundreds of thousands of people who voted before this story, which was first reported by the National Review, came out.
Yeah.
And it's just another sign, I think, of the dangers potentially of early voting, is that you're not always casting that ballot with all of the information.
Interesting. I don't have strong feelings on that issue personally, but I see the argument when something like this arises. More free media after this.